I found out that I have a real problem with pride and a love of myself. Early in the process, I asked God to perfect me in my weakness from 2 Corinthians 12 and 13. I didn't really understand what that meant. You see, I've always wanted to be a people pleaser. I've always wanted people to like me, to respect me, my intelligence, my experience, my leadership abilities, the things that I feel like I do well. But what I've learned is that I'd become to idolize those over God's purposes in my life. I was struggling with some of my coworkers, family, some of the folks I worked with. I realized that it was related to the fact that in many cases I felt like I was better than them. And that was a hard thing for me to really hear and understand from the Lord. I went through a process for literally weeks where I couldn't sleep. And when I get up in the morning and do my quiet times, I just cry out to God. I'd say, God, what? Why can I not change my behavior? And I think God was just trying to drive home his point, that there's a certain lostness that you feel in the sin that you have, this certain separation. And God was driving home his point in those areas to show me that he wanted me to truly get this right in my life. My wife, Joy, we've been married for 40 years and we fight pretty well, actually. She looked at me and she said, Randall, I just don't believe that you're listening to me. I don't believe that you value my opinion, that you really think that I know what I'm talking about in this. And I feel very devalued. I didn't want to believe that was true, but I realized in that moment and then on that not only was it true for her, but for my relationship with a lot of other people. And it was the root of many of the problems that I had. My daughter and I write letters to each other in this leather-bound journal that we have. And a couple of years ago, she wrote me a letter and she said, Dad, I know you love me and you'd do anything for me. But your desire for me to want to be more outgoing, your desire for me to want to be more of a social person, even though you thought that was best for me, turned out to be an unintended insult. And I hurt her at a very deep level. And I never knew it until I read that letter. And so that's the part of my life that I want to change. God said in Isaiah 49, can a nursing mother forget her baby? And I won't forget you, Israel. I've engraved you on my hands. And God showed me in that moment that he'll never forget me. So 200 years from now, no one will know my name here on earth. But God will always know me. The second scripture that really touched me through the process was Psalm 63, where it says, I thirst for you like in a dry and a weary land. God's love for me, like it says in Psalm 63, is more important, is better than life itself. And those two scriptures I hung into in those weeks when I was so troubled. There's this one young man, Luke, in our sessions. And I thought I was there to really help Luke. He has his own issues like we all do. And he looked at me and he said, Jesus died on the cross for your pride, Randall. And it like cut me. It was like a direct word from the Spirit of God through him to me. I realized that it wasn't my strengths, my abilities, the things that I do well, that was the problem. It was my attitude toward that. I want to look for the things in people that God has gifted them for. I want to serve out of that. And so God, I believe, has gifted me naturally in encouragement. And so I want to be a better encourager. I want to be a better friend. I want to be a better husband. And I'm nowhere near at that point in my life. God's going to continue to work with me in this, that I'll be kinder. I will be a better listener. I'll be more empathetic. That's what it's going to look like on the other side of this.